had a broad range of interests, from education to the arts to obviously politics, medical and other, and made a huge contribution to our country at a very difficult time. But in particular, he made an enormous contribution to this hospital. And when I heard reference to the fact that he encouraged the sisters to purchase properties in Eccles Street, isn't he just the kind of man we should have had on the boards of the banks in recent years, and they wouldn't be in all the trouble we're in, because I suspect that the sisters' bank accounts for Eccles Street are a lot healthier than many of the bank's balance sheets, and if he was around today, perhaps we could appoint him to NAMA to oversee the acquisition of these properties. But the Malvern Hospital has come a long way from the 40s, and he was one of only 4 physicians to the complex, the campus we know today. And I want to pay tribute in the first instance to the late Brian Alton. I think it's fantastic that the hospital that he played such a large part in its development should honour him in this way, and honour him in the context of education and training by naming the Clinical Skills Laboratory in his honour. And not only will the doctors being trained today, but the doctors of the future will very easily be able to recognise contribution that Brian Alton made to Irish medicine, and his name will never be forgotten by virtue of the naming of the laboratory. And I know the laboratory will be used for training of doctors. I understand from my briefing the latest resuscitation techniques, but also as a therapeutic resource for multidisciplinary teams dealing with emotionally sensitive issues, from intersex disorders to psychiatric issues and so on. So it will be widely used by doctors, by patients hopefully, and it will make an enormous contribution to the education and training that will happen in this wonderful place. While I'm here, I want to also pay tribute to the ongoing efforts that everybody makes in very difficult circumstances, and I must say I have a fantastic working relationship, as my department does, with this hospital, and I know that even though you can be stretched very often, that the hospital does an enormously good job of trying to cope in difficult circumstances, not least the circumstance we find ourselves in today. And I heard that wonderful woman, Phil O'Neill, on the radio at lunchtime, and it's great to hear somebody that works in the health service being positive, even when there's an awful problem before her. Because sometimes I think too many of us see the glass constantly half full and not, or half empty and not half full. And in that context, can I thank Dr. Carr for agreeing to go onto the board of the HSE. I know he will make a wonderful contribution there, as he did to the board of the Health Information and Quality Authority. And it's important that we have clinical input on that board. The HSE has the responsibility operationally for running our health service, and I was delighted when he agreed to my request to sit on that board, and I hope it doesn't take away too much from his patients. I'm quite certain it doesn't. It's a pleasure to see Mrs. Alton here, and my mother actually died 2 years ago today. And those of us that have our mothers into old age are very lucky indeed. And although Mrs. Alton clearly is not as well as her family would like her to be, I think it's wonderful that she can be here for what is a wonderful tribute to their family and to their late father, a wonderful man. And it was great to meet his daughters, 2 of his sons. I understand the 3rd son is in the United States. And my brief said 2 of his daughters work in the hospital. One is a dermatologist and one is a nurse. And I understand the dermatologist has moved on to other things, advise on healthy living in retirement. Not something I intend to, sorry, the healthy living I should would be retirement, not something I intend to play with too soon. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. One of the most exciting projects in the health service for the next number of years is the new paediatric hospital, which will be co-located with this hospital, and it's a priority for health funding, and it's moving forward very successfully. I know from the board has appointed the Chief Executive of the Development Board, appointed the Clinical Director. And I want to pay a special tribute to the Mercy Sisters for donating the site pro bono for the development of that hospital. I say that because we're living in a time when there's a lot of criticism of religious orders, and I want to acknowledge the huge contribution you will make to the sick children of Ireland, not just in 2014, but way beyond, by virtue of your generosity in donating that site. And it's right that I should acknowledge that, as I did recently at a government meeting. Believe it or not, sometimes members of the government only hear bad things, they don't always hear the good things, and it's good that we are put things in perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure now to declare the laboratory open whatever that means, officially open.